So hey there guys, Erin here again, and today's another day, another keto talk, and today I'm going to be going over the Candida cleanse that I'm doing and kind of what that means, what I'm going to be eliminating, what Candida is, why I'm doing it, the whole scope of the timeline, and kind of how I'm going to work it in with being continuing to be keto and all of that stuff. So I had mentioned that I was going to be doing a Candida cleanse in my last vlog, I think, and a number of you had asked me to go over that and kind of give more information. So I figured I would sit down and just kind of go over everything. So the reason why I'm doing a Candida cleanse is because Candida is a fungal yeast infection that can happen in a number of our bodies. And for some people, it can be manageable where you don't really notice it, or the symptoms seem to be kind of minor compared to other things that are going on. And then for some people, they can be very, very extreme. For me, it's not an extreme case at all, but it is something that if you've watched my videos and you've watched other things I've talked about, I am very, very pro good, clean gut health. And so because I am still experiencing some of the symptoms, it's something that I want to get rid of completely. I have done a Candida cleanse in the past, and I was a complete idiot where after I got off the cleanse, I didn't do anything to kind of help to keep it in check. I went back to eating foods that really helped to feed the Candida. I got sick and I needed antibiotics, which I totally promote taking. If you need antibiotics, take antibiotics, but it totally killed all the good gut bacteria that I had in my body, which just opened me up to have that kind of infection and grow again, that Candida infection grow again. And so the symptoms that I experience the most are digestive issues, as well as things like chronic fatigue, and then some joint pain.
All right, so some common symptoms of a Candida infection include things like exhaustion, cravings for sweets, bad breath, a white coating on your tongue that can be also referred to as oral thrush, brain fog, hormone imbalances, joint pain, a loss of your sex drive, chronic sinus or allergy issues, digestive problems, including gas and bloating, but it could be any digestive problem starting from the top of your system all the way to your bottom, including things like excessive heartburn or IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome, and then also a weakened immune system, UTIs, which are urinary tract infections, and then if you're female, it could be yeast infections, vaginal yeast infections, and then if you're a guy, it could also be things like jock itch, as well as some additional kind of sub-symptoms like athlete's foot or nail and toe fungus. So these are just some of the common symptoms.
So there's a lot of different things and a lot of different ways that it can show up. And I think the main reason why is because you can be an infection throughout your entire digestive system. It can also be an infection that shows up in your lymph system. So that's kind of why it shows up in different places for different people. So it is something that I want to get on top of, and because I'm doing this whole process in order to just become the healthiest person that I can be and just to get ahead of any potential health issues as I age, it is something that I'm going to go after and try to take care of within myself again. And so the program that I'm going to be following is a 16-week program, and I am adapting this program to continue to be keto. And so I kind of talked about how I was going to do it, and I've known that it was something I was going to be doing again for a couple months now, but I wanted to make sure that I had a good handle on what my schedule would be like, because I am eliminating certain things, and so it does make it a little bit harder to kind of calculate in your head where you're eating, or where you need to eat, or kind of planning ahead. And if you've watched my other videos, that is something I fully promote, is just kind of having your head in the right mental space, so that way you don't slip up and you can stay kind of focused on your whole diet or how you're eating and how you adapt different lifestyle changes into your day-to-day routine. So that is something I've been working on, so that way I can be ahead of this. So I picked the specific time frame because I don't have anything major planned right now. If something comes up, I'll adapt to it, but right now I have pretty much a full 16-week period where I don't really have anything that's gonna pop up and will potentially give me some sort of issue with staying completely focused on this diet. That doesn't mean that if something does pop up that I wouldn't be able to adapt to it. I'll adapt to it at that time, but I've got a clean 16-week period here. So I'm going to be starting at the beginning of August. So that first week in August, I think part of it's in July. I'm going to be starting that week. Right now I'm going through my pantry and my kitchen, and I'm trying to use up any of the sauces, ingredients that you're not allowed on this cleanse. So the things that I am allowed to eat once I start it are basically all of the meats that I'm enjoying right now, with the exception of pork. And then kind of the products from that meat. So by products, I mean the bones, the bone pieces, so I can have my collagen. I'll get into some of the other animal products later on. I'm allowed to have eggs. I'm allowed to have all the vegetables that I'm eating right now on keto, and then I'm allowed to have all the fruits that I'm eating on keto right now. So that would include my avocados, my lemons, my limes, my berries that I'm having, and then coconut. So the avocados and the coconut, that's going to be two of my primary sources of fat as I go through this. Other things that I'm allowed to have are all the oils that I'm having, so I can continue to have MCT oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, apricot oil, but I don't really use that often, but I'll probably be using that as more of a sweetener in some sense. And then all of the seasonings that I'm having, so if I have any dry seasonings, salt, pepper, all that, I can continue to use, and I can continue to drink things like coffee and tea if I want to. The other component is the things that I'm going to be giving up as I go through this process, and that is the big thing will be dairy for me, so no more grass-fed butter, heavy whipping cream, cheese, all that stuff, gone. No more sweeteners, so no more stevia, that'll be gone. I can't have my chocolate or anything that's been sweetened in any way, so all of that is, again, gone. I will have to give up vinegar, so my apple cider vinegar, I won't be drinking that for a little bit. That can come back in during the 16-week process, so I'll get into that timeline. Some of these things that I'm saying go away will come back in, but it's just, I'll get into that. So the other thing I have to give up is nuts and seeds, so my pumpkin seeds, my macadamia nuts, I won't be consuming those. I don't really consume a lot of other nuts because they tend to be higher in carbohydrates, and I'd rather get my carbohydrates from some heavier fiber sources if I'm going to go ahead and do that. The other thing that you have to give up is alcohol. You can't drink alcohol while you're doing a cleanse. I think that's kind of a no-brainer, but that is the other thing that you have to give up. There's other things on the give up list, but I've already well given them up since I've become keto. And there's other things on the things that I can have list, but they aren't keto friendly, so I'm not going to be talking about those. So what I've just listed are the keto friendly options. So, or the keto relative options of yes things and no things. The other thing that you do when you're on this Candida diet, because it is very focused on getting Candida out of your lymph system as well, is that you're supposed to do something that causes you to sweat. So you're either supposed to sit in a sauna for 20 minutes or 10 minutes a day and do it daily, or you're supposed to take hot baths. So I'll be doing both. We do have access to a sauna, and so I will be using that sauna as much as I can, and on times when I can't use a sauna for whatever reason, I will be doing baths. When I do my baths, I do Epsom salt baths in order to help get some electrolyte and minerals back into my body, but it's just, you're supposed to do something that causes your body to sweat and then to release it out that isn't exercise. So saunas or hot baths are the option that the plan allows for. You're also supposed to be drinking 1 quart of water for every 50 pounds on your frame. I'm going to go ahead and drink 3 quarts of water because I'd rather round up. I'm at like 135, 136 pounds right now, so I'm going to round up and do it as though I'm 150 pounds, just so I'm making sure that I'm getting enough water and flushing everything out of my body. There are some supplements that the program I'm looking at recommends. I am at this point likely not to buy their supplements. I am looking for supplements that are more cost effective and or maybe the generic version of their supplements, which you can find. So I will be, I'll update you guys if you are interested in following this kind of plan, what supplements I go with. The plan itself is the Life Force plan from Dr. McCombs. It's a Candida diet plan. It's, again, the one that I used before, and I did have great success with it for a while until I screwed everything up. It's a plan where you can find all the supplements and everything on Amazon. You can find the book on Amazon. This is the book. It's 100 pages. He kind of goes over, you know, how to remove toxins from your body and, you know, everything. If you want to follow it, you can. If you're looking just for advice going forward through this period on removing dairy or nuts, my food that I'll be showing will be removing that and kind of going through kind of nut-free, dairy-free options, at least for the next 16 weeks once I start it. So within this plan, like I said, there's time periods where you can add things back in, and so at around the 8-week mark, I will be adding back in my nuts, and my vinegar again, as well as like soy sauce. I think you can add in at that time. Around 13 weeks, you can add back in your sweeteners, so I'll add those back in then, and then after 16 weeks, or at 16 weeks, you can add back in dairy, and then after that 16 weeks, you can go back to, in theory, eating however you wanted to eat, so you could include your alcohol back in at that time. There are other things that you can add back in at various different times, but I'm not eating those. It's things like you could add grains back in at certain times, but because I'm not eating those, because I'm keto friendly, or, you know, I'm on the keto diet, it doesn't really matter. So what is my kind of plan, my hope, you know, all that kind of stuff for this? I am hoping that it does get me past a weight loss stall. If you're still with me at this point, I'm going to talk about weight loss stalls at this time. It's been very well documented that people who are on keto diets that experience stalls can sometimes break through their stalls by eliminating dairy for a while, eliminating nuts for a while. Nuts can be a source of sneaky carbohydrates, so it can help to remove those, as well as, you know, getting a lot of extra calories because you are getting a lot more fat from things like macadamia nuts. The seeds are kind of harder for me because I like my chia seeds and I like my pumpkin seeds because they're so good and such a good source of the omegas that I like a lot. So during that 8-week period, we'll see how I feel. I'm going to have to really think about where I'm getting my omegas from. I'll have to plan out my fish oil and everything a little bit better. But, you know, if it gets me past some of the issues that I'm still experiencing from Candida, I'm happy. On a selfish note, I am hoping that it does get me past this kind of longer stall that I'm experiencing. I'm happy, you know, where I'm at. I'm happy with the, you know, experience that I've had so far being keto. I'm happy with the results I've received so far being keto. But I also want to make sure that I continue on in this journey. I mean, I have body goals and weight loss goals that I want to achieve, and so I want to make sure that I'm achieving them. My primary concern with doing this whole Candida plan was my calories and my caloric intake, and making sure that I was still getting enough fat and still getting the proper ratios with keto. So to do that, I am going to be taking in a lot more avocados and coconut in order to get that healthy fat in there. I will be using oils heavily. I will be eating higher fat cuts of meat in order to do that, but just planning everything out, I am seeing myself going from somebody who's about 18 to 23 net carbs a day to being somebody that's more like 23 to 28 net carbs a day. I have checked myself and I've gotten up to about 33 carbs, you know, on a really high carb day, and I was still in ketosis at that time. So I am not personally concerned, but you know, just putting it out there that as I do this, you might see a little bit more higher carb days if I do like a what I eat in a day, or if I do a recipe day. And so I just want to make sure that I'm disclosing that versus what I've been showing before. So with that, I'm just gonna kind of end this video, and, you know, if you guys are interested in following more and getting more information, comment below and I can, you know, I'll link the program that I'm doing and their website in the description. But if you guys are interested in more info than just a monthly update on the Candida process, or if you want me to do more videos on that, comment below. I'd be happy to do it. But my videos going forward will still continue to be very focused on keto lifestyle, keto options, keto information, keto guiding, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so that'll stay the same. So just because I'm doing something a little bit different, don't be afraid. I'm still very, very keto and still be putting out keto content. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, just getting a glimpse of, you know, the next level of things that I'm going to be doing for my optimal health journey. Until next time, I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope everything's going great in your world, and I will see you guys later. Bye.